Thanks for noticing that. All right, here we go. Yay. And boop. Just need something to prop up the. Put my. Here we go. No, I can do this. There we go. All right.
You can use my phone too if you want.
That's okay. I think I should be able. All right. So, hello everybody. I don't think anybody's watching yet, but maybe if people are watching later.
I think you have to.
No.
You have to get the message.
Yeah.
Listen. For the list.
Yeah. Hold on. I got the.
Yeah, you have to click the link. I think.
Did you click the link or?
You can only click the link. Because when you send the message, they send you the email, and then you click the link.
Oh,
and then you.
So the other moderators don't get it, really?
Mm-mm. Or at least I don't think so. Yeah, I don't have.
You should. Anyway.
That's odd.
We should look into that. So I think that will probably work now. So yeah, so in a couple minutes, so I clicked on the link and I went to Chrome and then it did something. I don't know what it did. Okay. Anyway, I think we can just let's talk about a couple things before Marion gets here. So, thanks for being here. I know this is the first meeting we've had in a while, so I just kind of want to run through some things that have been happening. So we had our event on 10/3, October 3rd with Matt Hare. That went great. We were at Disable the Label on Saturday, last Saturday the 14th. That went well. So we met a lot of people at Disable the Label and the people that are interested in partnering with us. So we like one of the people that we met was this guy who's a veteran, and he said that there are a lot of places in Durham that he can't get into because they're inaccessible. So we were thinking that like if he sent us a list of those places, we could see if we could work on maybe like the accessibility team, like Victoria, could work on maybe making those places more accessible and going to them with her like fact sheet or like accessibility checklist that she's making. She hasn't communicated with you about that at all.
No, but I can reach out to her and ask.
Yeah, if you could do that, actually, that'd be great because I haven't heard anything from her for a while. So, so right now we don't have any more events planned for a while, except for in the middle of November, there's like a bunch of different events that talk about the veteran experience. And so we will be advertising for that. And I think we will be making, we will be coming up with accessibility information, hopefully, for that event because Marion knows the organizer. So
the veteran?
Yeah.
Veterans?
Yeah. Are you taking notes? Okay, great. Yeah, cool. So
could you repeat that?
It's like, I'm not sure what the events are called, but they center around the veteran experience. So it's actually like it's like a photo exhibition, and then there are some other things that are happening. It's like I think the exhibition goes through like November 7th to 17th, and then there are like panels and stuff that happen as well. So when the time comes, we'll make the information and accessibility information and send all of that out to our membership to advertise for it, that event. So other than that, we have nothing going on, and I think that's actually good because it'll give us some time to reset and to kind of
plan ahead.
Yeah, plan ahead and make sure that we're all on the same page going forward, because there are some things that happen financially that we'll get into later that that are not good. So the other thing is that actually that's okay. I'll look at that. DP, could you talk about your conversation with Vinit real quick so everybody's up to date on that?
Yeah, sure. So I just texted Vinit, who I believe is involved with DSG, asking about, so as you guys may know, that Tommaso posted and Fix My Campus about the whole 300 Swift bus situation, and how Brian was a student who used a wheelchair, was not able to get on the bus on multiple occasions and had to wheel over to West Campus multiple times. So Vinit said that he would look into it, and I asked him for a status update, and he said that, let's pull it up right here, that he's meeting with the transportation coordinator this Wednesday to speak with him personally about the issue. And he also said that it might be a good idea to bring this up with SDAO. He didn't do that, and he said he hadn't thought of that yet until yesterday because he didn't know that it existed. But I said that if he wants any help from the DDA, that would be good. And then whenever I just told Jay a couple of minutes ago, he said it would also be a good idea to talk to Brian personally, so he should also be kept in the loop. So
and we don't want to do anything that he doesn't want us to do.
Exactly. I just wasn't sure if I would be the best person to reach out to him, just given that I've never talked to him before. But if you want me to,
I think looks like Vinit, who's actually the president, I believe, of Fix My Campus, is primarily working on that. So we can let him handle that, and if he needs any help from us, he can reach out to us. SDAO is, of course, the Student Disability Access Office, and Fix My Campus is a group on campus that kind of takes issues from the student body, like it handles things from like the right condiments not being in the right places at like restaurants on campus and stuff, from like things like this where like the buses are not working properly and stuff like that. What happened to Brian happens. They deal with that. So yeah, so hopefully, so we will see where that goes. And if anyone has anything else they'd like to talk about with the like bus system, like if you want to share your experience with us, that'd be great. We'd love to hear from you, because we do want to fix this. Like this is unacceptable that he had to wheel himself all the way to West Campus, which is normally like a 5-minute drive. So and like there are other people with disabilities who I'm sure probably wouldn't be able to do that if the bus refused to stop for them, which is what I heard happened. So yeah, that's unacceptable, definitely.
Hey Jay, you might want to check that email again.
Oh really?
I think it'll create an email for you. So if you click that link, sorry, the link.
Oh, that link. Did it not?
Click it again.
Click it again.
It'll try to send an email.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know what.
Okay, then here's the next solution. So create an email.
Right, yeah. So.
Yes. And
why is that not?
You should copy it. It's like an email.
Oh, hold on. So while we're working on this, so the other thing is, I think Victoria is working on, hopefully, I mean, I haven't heard from her, but I hope she is working on her accessibility checklist for businesses in Durham. And so we'll see how that works out. But if anyone has any comments about like what accessible places should, what kind of features accessible places should have. We'd love to hear from you because I think Victoria could definitely incorporate those your advice into her her paper, her checklist. So so yeah, let me send this email. All right. So sorry.
Hey,
What?
I got it.
Okay, so it was just forwarded to the moderators?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's.
I was not aware that that's how the process works.
Yeah, like I did it next time, and I like went to the list and then waited for a long time, and then realized I had to send another email.
Yeah.
Now I approved it.
Looks like Ivan might show up. So that's actually the other thing to talk about, which is we never responded to his last email. Oh, you did? You did?
The thing was that I saw that you had responded to him, so I thought.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah. So we actually need to write like a more comprehensive response. So like in my response, I was just like, okay, we got the email. We'll send you something more thorough.
Who's this?
Ivan Robles. Remember, he is a senator, equity and outreach senator in DSG. So he came to a previous meeting and got advice from the attendees about like what concerns people with disabilities had about like accessibility and that sort of thing. So he got back to us with a list of stuff. Could you pull up his email and just read off what he wrote to us?
So we need to send him a list of the issues we would like to address.
No, he has a list, but he needs more information from us basically.
Oh, specifics. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, you asked me to respond, and I saw that you had already responded, so I was just like, so kind of confused. Sorry, I should have looked more into it.
Yeah, sorry. Just because we had the past two events like kind of close together, that was it's too much to keep up with. I think we'll get more into that when we talk about what's Marion. Where is Marion? It's 3:21. I'm not. I hope she's not lost.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, there she is.
Hi.
So we're filming, so if you want to, I don't know where you want to sit.
Right here's fine.
Okay. So actually, yeah, actually, if Ivan is coming, we do need to look over that email. So, hey.
What have I missed so far?
We've just been kind of reviewing some things. We talked about the guy that we met at we didn't do that yet. So we talked about the guy that we met at Disable the Label that couldn't get into some places in Durham.
Right.
Then we talked about the whole bus thing.
We also mentioned the veterans experience.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
so like in going forward, we'll need to talk more in detail about that maybe next week. So hi Ivan, thanks for coming. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself to.
Sure.
We're filming, so.
Okay. I'm Ivan Robles from Stockholm. I'm also a DSG senator on equity and outreach. So just been working kind of marginally with DEA, a little bit saying what DSG can do in terms of making accessible.
Right, and we definitely appreciate that. I have been thinking a little bit about your email, but we just had a lot going on with 2 different events, and then there's some other stuff which we'll get to in a minute that happened that I actually do kind of want to talk to you about. But so let me just pull up your email real quick, because I know
Thank
you.
for sending such a thorough response.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Wanted to make
that
sure
was
the
great.
information was there.
Yeah, it was my responsibility to reply to you, but it was just a miscommunication. Like, I'm sorry. I should
Yeah,
have
I,
asked you so much
I sent a
earlier.
lot of info at once, so it's fine.
Right. So let me just share my screen real quick so the people that on the Hangout can see what you wrote to us. Okay, so so you said the Uber stops are not accessible. Yeah, so we talked about that. So
So there's an update on that. They actually
okay. So did they just change the schedule?
Yeah, they changed the time frame. So the 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. they actually got it implemented.
Yeah, so it's 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. The Ubers can't pull up to the West Campus or East Campus bus stops.
Yes, and then outside of those hours.
Outside of those hours, it's yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Then we talked about at the meeting you were at before. We talked about accessibility training for faculty. So yeah. So basically, you said the trainings were organized on a department by department basis.
Exactly. So this is sort of a larger project that DSG is sort of working on. I'm trying to meet with Dean Ashby and Dean Heathers to just sort of get trainings in general implemented. And in my email to Dean Heathers, I mentioned that in addition to doing just training on how to teach, because that's not even something that's offered, we would also like to implement more like equity-based trainings, whether that be like sexuality or race training or accessibility training. So I think this is more of like a long-term project and getting that implemented,
Right.
but definitely something I will be pushing in my meetings with them. So that should be happening.
You might think about reaching out to the director of the Teaching for Equity program, which is right now in its 2nd year, and it's basically a program that faculty voluntarily sign up for, and it's very intensive. It's several weekends across the fall semester. It may even extend to spring, and you're there for like a full day with a small group of faculty talking about like racial justice and different kind of equity topics.
And that's Duke affiliated?
Yeah, it's only in its 2nd year, and it's only for it's only for faculty that like apply to the program and get accepted. So it's a small number. It's definitely not the general kind of training that you're talking about having.
And then we just get like sort of their frameworks.
Right, exactly. It can be really useful.
That's great.
And hopefully that can be applied, like it can be made into something more manageable to be part of the regular faculty members orientation.
Right.
Because you're right, there's not training for faculty here. I mean, it is organized by departments if there is training, but a lot of times there isn't any.
Even then, you have to opt in usually.
Yeah.
And often the faculty members that need the training don't.
think that they,
Yeah.
they don't think that they do. Yeah, so, and you can also be in touch with me. I'm running a faculty group around accessibility.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, so we're trying to talk about what accessible pedagogy means and for disability, but just like in general, making our pedagogy more inclusive and accessible. So we also want to kind of come up with some way or some kind of standards or guidelines for other faculty to look at as well and to make those more generally available.
Okay.
So
You
I'll
wanna
give you my
yeah,
card.
that's perfect.
Yeah, I'll give you my card. We can talk about this.
All right. Cool. So the next thing, accessibility info during O week. That's definitely a necessary thing to have, I think. So if we could provide, you said if
Essentially, they told us that they would be willing to do it. They just want to know sort of specifically what we are asking for in terms of if you want like maps on the pamphlets that they give out, or sort of like online information?
I mean, I think probably the best thing would be online. Probably the simplest thing would be for them to like set up some sort of website or something
Website.
where people can just go and find all this information centralized in one place.
Okay, so related to O Week, and then what sort of information do you think students would need?
I mean, definitely,
Schools.
accessible routes to the different locations, and then even within buildings, which is another thing we're going to talk about. Even within buildings, like knowing, like, okay, this is the room we're trying to get to, so here's how you get from the accessible entrance to the room itself.
I've noticed too that the accessibility websites that Duke currently has, do they have bathroom information? It looks like, I remember you can do parking, you can do accessible entrances.
I'm looking at that website right now, and even like the parking and transportation map is kind of just like, oh, our buses and vans accommodate wheelchairs, and we can work with so and so to provide appropriate parking. So it's like accessible parking spaces are available, but where exactly are they?
So which website are you looking at?
I'm looking at the just parking.
Okay, cool.
Transportation website.
So if you go to the Duke Disability Management System website, there's a tab for getting around, and it has a map of campus, and then there's a map of the health systems, and you can kind of use this to, you can check off ADA accessibility, and then everything pops up, and you have to kind of zoom in to a given place.
Yeah, I think I can pull that up.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
And it'll have where the accessible entrances are, but you don't see much for the insides of the buildings.
Yeah, I mean, like, you get this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too. You can scroll in
Right.
and stuff.
So you can scroll in.
But yeah, I mean, we can talk about ways of making this a better tool.
Let me. I have the link for that. I can pull it up real quick.
So they have entrances that we don't do anything internal.
Yeah.
What's the link?
Go to just Google Duke Disability Management System.
Wait.
Oh, it's a location or not? It's just a sort of like the thing.
Wait. I think it's saying failed to initialize site.
Like, I feel like since it's on a laptop, it's not that bad, but when you're actually trying to get around and you're looking on a
Yeah.
cell phone, this is very.
Would that be a project for a computer science class to take, like to turn this into an app, or for you to do
Yeah.
as a senior
Yes.
thesis?
Yeah.
Because I'm a
Exactly.
computer science person.
Yeah. I could. Yeah. I mean,
That's
it would
a couple
be.
years off.
Yeah, it would
so-
be a cool thing. Yeah, because I think like for me, usually like when I'm going somewhere, I have to walk the route myself, so I know like what's gonna be in my path basically.
Yeah, yeah.
So making an app where you can basically walk through it virtually would be great. But yeah, I think that's probably a longer term thing. I will go to SBAO's website and pull up that map. So the next thing from your email, Ivan. So Duke fans, so basically it looks like Duke fans can't go to the Duke Hospital?
Well, they just, as soon as I sent this email to you, I don't know if I mentioned this, they just made a change to the policy of the Duke fans, and I'm gonna have to double check on it. But I heard recently that they can go to the Duke Hospital. But I think there were like specific restrictions to it that I'm not totally aware of at the moment. Essentially, they said it's only available for service since it's not constantly running between those hours, and they can drop you off like in hospital areas. We didn't see from what they replied like at the entrance for some reason. So let me relay those to y'all. You're able to transport students to from student health. However, for liability reasons, we're not able to take emergency calls. But I don't think what we were talking about were emergency calls. This is sort of like regular visits. So they may have misunderstood that. Transportation to hospital is available through Duke Police and EMS. for non-emergency transportation to buildings and parking lots. So that's buildings and parking lots.
Yeah. So I get
I thought you were talking about like an ambulance, is that?
Yeah. because I guess I wasn't fully aware of what people were talking about with this because I use Duke's ADA van service, like this daytime paratransit service thing.
Yeah.
Like I use that every day. So I mean, they obviously can take you there if you like have a disability and you can apply for it
Okay.
through SBAO. Like
Okay,
you
so
can apply and.
So the paratransit service you think is sufficient for?
I mean, obviously that's not a perfect service, but it's slow, and they're like only 3 vans. So like if there are a bunch of people that want to like ride around, like it takes longer than if you do like a direct ride. Yeah, but I think for it's better than the other transportation services, definitely. So
I'm not sure which ADA member suggested it, but
yeah, I can look.
what they were talking about was a paratransit type service.
I think like if I remember correctly, I actually brought this up, and I think what my point was that not necessarily permanent disabilities, but more impermanent. Like if somebody like breaks a bone and like you can't.
Yeah.
You don't really need an ambulance for that, but you can't really walk to the hospital either.
Right.
So in that case, would that student be able to use the paratransit?
Right. Yeah. So I think that's the issue there because if they haven't applied in advance, they couldn't use that.
Yeah.
Service.
Because one of the other people who were here, she said that she had like broken her foot or something, and she couldn't call an Uber because that limitation, and she couldn't call like a van to take her to the hospital. So
Right. Yeah, I think. Yeah, so I guess that's helpful to clear things up though.
I can send an email to. Is it SDAO that does the paratransit service?
Yeah.
Processing?
Yeah, so like it's basically like any accommodation, like housing or classroom accommodation, it's the same thing. It's a transport.
Okay.
Like
So
so
you
you
send
would.
an email ask that if a student were to have an injury that required them to go to the hospital, they couldn't physically make it there. Like what sort of services are offered? So I'll do that.
Because rides in emergency vans can cost a bunch of money.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Right. So I guess the last thing, let me see here. Yeah, indoor massive drums. So
So I wasn't.
I think so yeah, I think the thing is like I mean, you can kind of figure out from those maps like which entrances are accessible because I think usually they have stairs. Like stairs, like if there are stairs anywhere, they have it listed in the plan. It's kind of even then it's just not very clear what's the shortest route and like it's not very clear like what's the shortest route and what's like you still have to like pore over the diagram, like figure out like, okay, there are stairs here and all of that stuff. And like the other thing is like if there are doors that don't have automatic door openers on them, then that's basically inaccessible.
Right.
Like this is inaccessible, this door right here. So
What do you get a sense of percentage of doors that are accessible versus inaccessible on campus?
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, like so basically like yeah, I mean most doors on campus are not don't have automatic door openers. Like indoors, like there like a lot of doors don't have automatic door openers. So so that's an issue. But I mean like I guess like thinking about this, like if there was some way where like almost like you know how like outdoor maps have like satellite view and everything. So it's a lot easier, like, kind of figure out where everything is and what it looks like. Like, if there's a way that we could like map out the indoor dorms as well, that would be good, or at least have highlighted like take a fire plan and like highlight like
certain route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like to just like kind of make this meaningful as a kind of daily lived inconvenience to the students with disabilities, it'd be something like if you have to go to the bathroom when you're in the building, you know, that you find a bathroom but it doesn't have an automatic door opener and you can't get in, or it doesn't have like an accessible stall, or maybe you need a single seating kind of bathroom. So if you can't find it, then you end up being like, all right, I'm gonna go all the way back to the one that I know where it is, and that could be like really far away. But you just go there because
Right.
you just know that it's there. But if you could like look where's the actual closest accessible bathroom to me, that would make a huge difference in like your day-to-day life, because otherwise you're kind of having to schedule your bathroom breaks, which is really inconvenient. So.
So with this in mind, I'm trying to think of which groups or people I could reach out to about this. I personally couldn't find the fire plans on my own.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. Like they don't even like they're not there for you to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a hard time too because I'm running a faculty group in Trent Hall, and like I want to make it as accessible as possible because it's a disability faculty group, and we're inviting people to it that are disabled, and I want to give them like accessible maps and info like, before they even come here. And I can't get a floor plan, you know, and I'm like, okay, I know there's an elevator in the building. So what I end up having to do is like get there and stick up signs all over the building and be like, this way to elevator. And like I have to kind of, you know, do that extra work rather than just like hand them a map in advance that shows the route.
I guess I could email housing and ask if they have sort of floor plans like that are available.
I think they used to, but they may have taken them down for the dorms at least.
Yeah.
But that doesn't include like places like the Bryan Center and the Broadhead Center.
Or you could take it right to the top and ask Kyle Kavanaugh where, who to ask. He's the person who's in charge of disability management.
He's the vice president of administration, so he oversees disability management services, which oversees SBA.
He has a lot of different titles, so it might, or like just a lot of responsibilities. So it just might not be something that he's even aware of. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I can see some.
Tell him you know me. He's met with me before, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had meetings with him in the past.
Okay.
About other DSG guys.
CAVANAUGH.
A-N-A.
Sorry, can you repeat what?
Vice president of administration is, I
Yeah,
think. his-
in relation to accessibility.
I think, no,
Is it vice president of disability management? Or
I think it's
is it
just vice
charge?
president of administration, and then under
Disability
that title,
management
all of
is-
these
Okay,
responsibilities
okay.
are included.
Gotcha.
So yeah, even like having for every building, having a fire plan at least that people can access and look at, that I think is the bare minimum for like making accessible information available to people with disabilities.
So I'll reach out to Kyle Kavanaugh, also reach out to housing and ask if we have access to those plans currently, and then depending on what they say, yes or no, we'll sort of move forward with that.
Okay,
If we
great.
do have them, then
This is not
I'm getting the
really-
goals highlighted, like you said.
Pretty.
Yeah,
Video game.
yeah. So thank you so much for agreeing to do all that, and definitely let us know if you need any help. I think going forward, I was saying at the beginning of the meeting, we don't have anything planned for another 6 months, so we have a while to get kind of
Focus on
Yeah.
accessibility.
focus on accessibility and kind of like be more prompt in getting back, like responding to emails and stuff like that. So yeah, we
It's not
will.
gonna be an empty 6 months at all. We have a lot
Yeah.
of work to do for Disability Pride Week.
Yeah. I mean,
Active
But
events,
yeah,
no
It's
active-
not gonna be as like insane as the last
Yeah,
few
yeah.
weeks have been. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more organized.
Right. So I think that's everything in relation to this. So thank you again so much, Ivan, for all your help.
We really value having student government on our side and
Yeah.
helping us out and just starting to think about these things. It means a lot. So
There have been other senators who have sort of mentioned interest in getting involved in like more of like accessibility advocacy.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, we weren't able to make it today, but hopefully we'll have more hands on deck
Great.
moving forward.
Yeah, and so yesterday I met with Maram because she's doing the Minority Rights Coalition thing. So that is a group of members of different organizations that represent minorities on campus, and basically it's a coalition. So we're going to be like working together on stuff, like maybe doing an event together.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so I did meet with her yesterday. So
That's like a big project that like should be really great in terms of like cohesion.
yeah,
and equity on
definitely.
campus.
Right. So now the fun stuff, the financial stuff.
Yeah, that was really confusing to me. It sounded like Trent got paperwork that showed a certain balance in our account that was pretty high, and that later we were told there was actually only like $100 and something dollars.
So the reason that
So-
that's Ashley's department. So for her reimbursement,
Yeah.
it has to go through her department, the history department, and then
And is that gonna be the
They-
case for me too every time? That, like, it sounded like they said that advisors can't use fund code to
right.
get
I mean,
reimbursed. I have to use my department's fund code, and then you guys have to reimburse my department. Is
right.
that
Yeah.
So then we filed some paperwork incorrectly then. 'Cause I definitely
no, I mean,
used DDA's fund code for the last couple of things, and they were low expenses.
so because they approved those though, did they?
I haven't gotten it yet. I haven't
Yeah.
heard anything about
So-
it, so I don't know.
So I have the records here, so we can look at them and see whether that actually happened. Let me just give a brief rundown.
Sure.
If you guys on exec, everybody on exec, I forwarded you. You should be able to see on the Facebook page that really long list of transactions. That's every transaction we've ever made with our fund code. I'm working on getting that into a spreadsheet. I would ask Trent to do it, but he went to the ER on Thursday, so
No.
yeah. Anyway, I will pull up that real quick. No.
Is it this picture of?
Yeah, it's this.
Laura?
Yeah. So it's the one with
Sideways.
it's like the really long.
Yeah.
What you can probably rotate the picture somehow.
To download it to do that, so I'm just gonna.
Okay, sorry. I'm. Let me pull it up. So basically, what happened is, several years, like fall 2015 and spring 2016, we had an annual budget, and because we had an annual budget, we got annual allocations from DSG. And that money never went away, even though it was never spent. So for last year and for this year so far, everyone has been under the impression that we've had $670 just sitting there that haven't been used yet. But the problem is because that assumption has been around for so long, some of that money was being used and we weren't aware of it. And I can, once I pull up the transaction list, I can explain in more detail. I think so one thing is that cookies. So when we did the last year, we had this event, the Bottom Dollar screening, where we had someone from Seattle come over, and that was a big thing.
You pay display and everything.
Yes. So she was approved $658 from SOFC for that. There was some confusion as to whether or not they should have approved stuff for travel and stuff. But anyway, she got $658 to our fund code, and then she used all of that money, and then she used some more money from the 670 that were sitting around from DSG. And I didn't know about that because I thought that she was going to use that 658, and it really makes more sense if I pull up the sheet. Let will it let you download or not?
You can download it, but it's not very high quality. So like I downloaded it and rotated it, but now when I zoom in, it gets a little grainy.
All right, I'll work. So I'll work on getting everybody a better copy of that. So basically, she used the 658, and then she used some more of the 670, and I didn't know about that. I assumed that she would not dig into that money, and she did. So that was my first mistake. And the next thing was that when we got funding from SFC for our event on 10/3, we asked for like $940 and they only approved 515. And so that was such a low number that I guess like I couldn't believe it. And so what I thought was that they approved 515 for the food when we'd asked for 600, but they had still approved enough money on top of the 515 to pay for flyers and the speaker fee.
Yeah.
But that was not the case. And so that was my second mistake.
So wait, is Matt getting his speaker?
No, he's getting his money.
Okay.
And so that's not a problem.
Okay.
Food. The food is okay. So SFC didn't approve enough money for us to pay for our food. Without digging more into the money that we already have. So if we hadn't done all the stuff we did for the 14th, we would be fine. But because I thought we still had 670 to use to pay for stuff for the 14th. And that was not the case. And what has happened now is there's not enough money to reimburse me for the flyers, for the brochures.
What are the other things, like the things Ashley and I bought?
Yeah, so those should be able to be covered.
Okay.
Because the stickers and the buttons, those should be able to be covered. I think the only thing that can't be covered is the money I spent on the brochures.
Can I ask if there's a way to avoid, because it just feels like there's a delay between money getting spent and us finding out that it's been spent?
Yeah.
Like, is there not like a website that keeps track of club funds that we can like just always know what we actually? Nobody keeps track?
I mean,
or behind the scenes?
Finance keeps track, but you have to go to finance.
Okay.
So
like, can we just have like Trent like have a weekly liaise with them where?
Yeah, basically weekly go and get.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. I should have done that. I should have pushed for that earlier.
Okay.
And I didn't, and I think that was another mistake that I made.
Because I felt like someone had recently been to finance and said that we had like $700 before the Disable the Label event.
Right. So I thought we had around $700.
It would have been actually like more like 100 and something.
Yeah. So I thought we had $700, and so
we didn't need a full 700. I remember thinking that was a lot for stuff, but for
I have a question. So like the money that we got from DSG a couple of years ago, is that supposed to like kind of stay as like a safe or like
they're not, they would never take that away from us. Like they haven't taken it away. If they were gonna take it away from us, they would have done it before last year.
Yeah, but my question is like, are we only allowed to spend that money for like very specific purposes?
No. We can. SFC told me that because it's still in there and it's not been taken away, we can basically spend it on anything related to the club that we feel like we need to spend it on. But essentially now we've spent all that money.
So what's the plan? Like, how is it supposed to work if we hadn't had all these miscommunications and stuff?
I think the first thing to do would have been to appeal to SFC for more money. I don't know if we can still do that for the event that we had on October 3rd.
I don't know what the time frame is for everyone.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing to look into. The other thing is, I don't know if DSG can help us out at all.
Like using DSG surplus or something?
Yeah, like if we can get money from that, because the brochures that I still need to get reimbursed for, those are something that we're gonna need like for a long time. Like people are gonna want to know about our club, so it's basically like, I mean, the expense is certainly justified. We just need money to cover it, and I think because the thing is, if I'd known that we didn't have as much money as I thought we did, I think we would have gotten fewer brochures, and then we would have just delayed that to when we needed more. So yeah, so I don't know if there's anything DSG can do to just retroactively basically lend us some money for that purpose.
I would need to talk to Luke Burrell, who's the SOC president, see what he thinks. It's possible, so DSG does have a surplus fund that we give out, but it's very like specific in terms of like the restrictions we have for it.
Okay.
But I think the only pushback would be that since SOC did not give you all your funding, and I'm sure they had a reason for it, because they have like very specific restrictions themselves. And there's also like no process of appeals. Like there would be a pushback against that. Like there wasn't like a following of a certain procedure.
So yeah, so I think the other issue is that there were two separate events, right? So we had an event on October 3rd, which we requested $600 for food, $300 for a speaker fee, and $40 for flyers. And so of that, SFC approved 515. If I had known that was all that they had approved, I certainly would have said, oh, we need to appeal that. Because I never got the actual because our treasurer got the actual email and I didn't, I was not aware that they had only approved 515. And then there was an event. So that's one issue. And then the event that I got the brochures for was last Saturday, October 14th. It was an off-campus event, so SOFC wouldn't have approved money for it. Mm-hmm. And so I actually talked to Luke Farrell, and he basically said that, yeah, if you have that DSG annual allocation money from before, you can use that to pay for the stuff on the 14th.
But you don't have that money.
But yeah, so we had already, like previous things had required some of that money. So basically now I'm stuck with this expense for a bunch of brochures that I think we would have, I think now that we have the brochures, we won't need to incur any more expenses for that sort of thing for a while. And I mean, in some senses, it's just a general expense for the club that we just need. We need like stuff that we can give out whenever we have an event.
I can find out.
Yeah, that would be great if you could do that.
It's like it can get a little tricky with DSG surplus.
Right.
I can ask. Let's see what we can do.
So for this year, did DDA did not file a budget?
So yeah, that's a special process that we never did because I was under the impression that we could get like funding for whatever we needed from SOFC.
Right.
And
it's too late to get.
I mean, we can't get it. I don't think we can get an annual budget for this year. Definitely next year, I think we'll want one because we'll be organized enough to have one. But yeah, for this year we don't have one.
When are budgets due?
Is
it all
spring?
March? Like March, April for the next year.
So
we'll be doing all of the planning for that.
So we have no fun. I'm just kind of wondering how we're gonna pay for our events
in future.
Disability Pride Week, because we had some pretty ambitious plans, and I don't know how we're gonna fund things like the performance that we've
Yeah,
been talking
So
about.
certainly SOFC can give us some money because all of those events will be on campus.
Right,
So they will give us some money, and we can work with them to get as much funding as possible.
yeah.
The other thing we can do is apply for the cultural fund, because
When's that due?
I'm not. I think it's a month in advance or something like that.
Let's
So
be like really on top of it.
yeah.
though.
So we'll need to. So once Trent is able to do stuff,
Yeah,
I can definitely talk to him about that.
okay.
Um,
Cause like I wanna start
Right.
talking about that event soon, and, it really, like, how much money we'll have for it really decides everything.
Certainly,
It decides like who we can invite and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think before we do any of that, I want to make sure that we have Trent on board and we have everybody on
Yeah.
board, and we
Yeah,
have
of
a,
course.
and certainly that we have a plan for like how we can make sure that this sort of thing doesn't happen again.
Uh-huh.
I think the one thing is to make sure that any financial stuff, exec is forwarded the official records for any of that. So like the,
Yeah,
so like
instead of
this,
just going to Trent.
so like the SOFC, like the SOFC stuff, when they only approve 515, like I think it's good for us, for everybody to see the official record that says, oh, we have 515 for the whole thing, instead of Trent having to tell us.
Do we get a hard copy of it?
No, I think they sent Trent an email, and I don't think he forwarded it to us.
But is it possible to like just keep like a hard copy of the transactions?
Oh, so
Instead of
these, yeah, so that's a separate issue from the transaction. Like what I was talking about is like for the third, like
Oh, just
like having the official record from SOFC that says like we're SOFC
Right,
and we
okay.
approve this much for you. I think having all the official records is good. That's, I mean, like you guys know, I send you guys everything related to DDA, so everybody knows.
Yeah.
And I think being on the same page in that regard is good. So we should do that as much as possible.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea to, like, in future when we have a budget and stuff, that we have a shared doc that has a spreadsheet money, and just like, this is the money that we're spending, and like keeping track.
Yeah.
And
So
this is money
I'm
coming in,
gonna
this is money
take,
going out.
I'm planning on taking this, and because I don't think I guess I will talk to Trent about it and see if he has time to do it, but if not, then I'll basically take all of this information in the spreadsheet and put that in an Excel document, and so then we can use that. We can basically just regularly get these from SOFC or from finance, get these transaction records, and then put that into a spreadsheet as well. So we have the official record, and then we have a mutable document like that we can make edits to, that shows all our finances as well. So
Yeah.
So I think the takeaways from this are being transparent, definitely, and also getting weekly transaction records from SOFC.
Yeah, like if we're not actually able to see our own finances, then we need to have a routine for getting
Right.
updates.
I have a question. So is it like SOFC we apply if there's like it gives us money for like a given event, like, oh, we want to do this, can you fund us for it? And
Yeah.
with the budget thing, does that also come from SOFC or does that come from like DSG or something?
Yeah, I think the budget is also SOFC.
Okay.
Having an annual budget.
It's from SOC, but DSG approves it in the spring. So so usually SOC is like a branch of DSG.
Right.
So I don't always get to see a lot of things that they do unless it goes over a certain amount. However, with annual budget, we all sit down to like midnight later and we go through other budgets. I definitely think that's something y'all should do come next spring.
Yeah. I think the concern last year is that I didn't know how organized, like, I didn't know far enough in advance how
Yeah.
organized we were gonna be.
Yeah.
Um,
So how
But-
far in advance can we apply to SOC for an event? Like, could we go 6 months before it happens and say, we're gonna have this event in 6 months? This is the kind of budget we're looking to get. Like, is there too early, you know? Or- Yeah.
I'm gonna look at that.
I know there's like a deadline for when you have to do it by, but is there time when the window opens?
I'm not sure offhand. I'm gonna look up
So we should go as early as we can for
Yeah.
Disability Pride Week.
Yeah, I definitely want to make sure Trent is on board with all this, like
Yeah.
getting like, especially like getting the weekly records like that. He can do that.
Sure.
I want to have a plan that we can implement,
Right.
and that Trent is okay with.
Yeah.
And then we can start thinking ahead. Yeah, and so Ivan, you said you could talk to some people in DSG about
I'll
maybe us
see
getting.
sort of, I'll explain what's going on and see what can be done. if
Yeah,
anything. So
all
no
right.
promises, but
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for doing that. We really appreciate it. Because yeah, I think if we had been a little more organized, we certainly would have avoided this. But I think yeah, we just had a lot going on. So if there's anything we can do.
I'll definitely, so I'll do all this, and then I'll probably send another email with updates.
Okay. Yeah.
So be sure
we'll
to
be on the lookout for that. Yeah.
respond.
Yeah. And and the other thing is I don't know if we can apply for the like specifically for the event that we had on the 3rd, if we can retroactively kind of appeal to SFC for more funding to cover that stuff.
Also appeal for not only getting compensated for the expenses, but also.
So I think the two options that I was thinking of are we see if we can appeal to get more of the $940 that we asked for. Or we appeal specifically to get money for my expense for brochures for the 14th. Because either option would I think give us enough money to cover everything. Because like the way it works is it all goes into our fund code, and then it's just like from finance's point of view that processes all the payments is just like a big pot of money. So either way that we can get more money, whether it's applying retroactively for like our expenses about the food and like the speaker fee and stuff, like getting more money for that, or getting money specifically for the brochures, either way works the same for us. So
Yeah, I think those are, if the appeal was an option, I think those are the two that they would suggest. So I'll look into it. And also I'll send you an email.
Yeah,
and we can
yeah,
discuss
we're gonna talk
what we can
about faculty trainings.
do. Awesome. Thank you all.
all right, thank you so much, Ivan. We really appreciate it.
Great weekend.
Thanks. How many weeks into the semester are we? Is it 7?
8
We're 8?
Well,
eight
eight's-
behind us, or this is 8?
behind us, yeah.
Wow. Go fast.
Feels like it's been a while. Well, I'm a freshman, so I haven't been working for so long.
Oh, wow.
All right, everyone. So I think we're going to cut off the hangout here. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Or thank you so much for watching. And we
Do
will
have
see
anyone
you.
on the hangout?
We will see you next week. Bye.